Are you Santa Claus? If you have heard or have asked someone this question that was binge drinking, then you may be familiar with the term alcohol flush. About 1/3 of the Asian population experiences facial flushing when drinking alcohol. When most people drink alcohol, it can make them feel more confident and comfortable. But for those who get a red face while drinking, this can be a constant source of embarrassment and a dead giveaway to anyone and everyone that they are inebriated. Everyone has seen someone with a red face after drinking. But do you know what causes the flushing phenomenon? What does your body want to tell you when your face turns red after drinking? Is this a sign that something is wrong? According to dermatologist Alok Vij, the facial flush from alcohol can be caused by 2 reasons: an enzyme deficiency or rosacea. Enzyme deficiency. Alcohol flush happens when the blood vessels under the surface of the skin dilate. This is part of an immune response where the body is detecting a threat. The threat isn't the alcohol itself, but a substance that's produced when alcohol is broken down. Normally, the alcohol, or ethanol, is broken down in your liver in 2 steps. First, the enzyme alcohol dehydrogenase, or ADH, converts alcohol into a highly toxic substance called acetaldehyde. It is a carcinogen, harmful for both humans and animals due to its ability to lead to cancer. In the next stage, a second enzyme, aldehyde dehydrogenase, or ALDH2, metabolizes the acetaldehyde into acetic acid. It is a harmless acidic component of vinegar and easy for the body to eliminate. However, if you look into the DNA of 80% of East Asians that experience facial flushing, you'll find the gene providing the instructions for the ALDH2 enzyme was tweaked at some point in their history, making it less efficient or even inactive. Therefore, without ALDH2, the first enzyme, ADH, works so fast that the alcohol breaks down to acetaldehyde extremely quickly, sometimes up to 100 times faster. As a result, their body accumulates acetaldehyde at a level of about 6 times higher than normal people. That's why it triggers the immune response, and the red face is really the least of it. Rosacea. Even if you are not Asian, your cheek might also brighten up when you drink because of rosacea. It is a long-term skin condition that typically affects the face, results in redness, pimples, swelling, and small and superficial dilated blood vessels. This skin disease is more common in people who are fair-skinned, have blonde hair, blue eyes, and who have Celtic or Scandinavian ancestors. However, not only drinking alcohol makes their face redden, but also other things such as eating spicy foods and items that contain the compound cinnamaldehyde, such as cinnamon, chocolate, tomatoes, and citrus or drinking hot beverages. Unfortunately, there is no cure for this disease, but treatments can help to manage the redness, bumps, and other symptoms. Besides the superficial symptoms of facial flush, which may seem embarrassing and slightly irritating at most, there are more serious consequences to this condition. Recent studies report that if you get an alcohol flush because of an enzyme deficiency, you'll have a higher risk of digestive, liver, and respiratory cancer. A 2013 study showed that there is a link between hypertension and alcohol consumption in people with alcohol flush. Scientists looked at 1,763 Korean men and found the flushers, who drank more than 4 alcoholic beverages a week, had a greater risk of developing high blood pressure compared to those who didn't drink at all. Meanwhile, the non-flushers were only more likely to have high blood pressure if they had more than 8 drinks a week. It's not clear how flushing increases the risk of developing alcohol-related hypertension, but the buildup of acetaldehyde could be the one to blame. Acetaldehyde can damage your DNA and prevent your body from repairing the damage. DNA is the cell's instruction manual that controls a cell's normal growth and function. When DNA is damaged, a cell can begin growing out of control and create a cancer tumor. A toxic buildup of acetaldehyde can increase your cancer risk. Another review has also associated drinking alcohol with certain types of cancer. They found that heavy drinkers who experienced facial flushing had higher esophageal cancer, oral cancer, and pharynx cancer risk compared to the heavy drinkers who did not. Like we mentioned before, maybe your body is sending you a signal to stop drinking before something bad happens. But the fact is that even if you know that alcohol is bad for your health, the peer pressure to socially drink is hard to avoid. It is regularly advertised in the media and online that antihistamines, or H2 blockers, like Pepcid AC and Zantac, can prevent alcohol flush in the short term, especially to keep up with the binge drinking culture of colleges. H2 blockers have been proven to slow down the breakdown of alcohol to acetaldehyde in your bloodstream. But this can lead to much bigger problems. Using histamine 2 blockers to reduce the Asian flush can escalate alcohol intake and increase the risk of stomach cancer, esophageal cancer, and a type of skin cancer called squamous cell carcinoma. The use of H2 blockers may allow someone suffering from Asian glow to drink higher levels of alcohol, but this person shouldn't do that. It's just not smart. What's worse is that people who use H2 blockers lose their warning signs and end up consuming excess levels of alcohol. The ethanol in alcohol will saturate the system and the higher levels will prevail, leading to increased behavioral changes in the person, including greater impairment of judgment and even death due to alcohol-induced poisoning. H2 blockers just merely mask the problem temporarily and don't treat the underlying issue that your body is unable to metabolize alcohol. So, if you have aldehyde dehydrogenase deficiency, it's better to stay away from alcohol. I know it's super difficult to refuse when being surrounded by people who drink often, and there is always a voice whispering in your mind to hold your liquor, but there are other ways to work with this demon drink, such as taking cold beverages with less alcohol content, eating before and or whilst you drink, and drinking plenty of water. Last but not least, remember that if your face goes red, it means that your body is telling you to stop for your own good.